Welcome. In this screencast we're going to talk about how to add audio to your course. And one of the ways to do that is to create an MP3. One of the ways we can create an MP3 through open source and freeware is using a product called Audacity. Now to be able to record, you're going to have a microphone. You can buy a standalone mic by itself, or most webcams today have microphones built into them as well. So either way, you can access it through that way. Why add audio to your course? Well, I think it gives a layer of instructional method that otherwise text doesn't offer. Because if we're one-dimensional, just driven by text, it can hamper our ability to communicate. It's just, if we have choices of communication, those choices allow for more opportunity to learn and more opportunity to engage students. Something a student can do with an MP3 is to be able to download it, save it, put it on their iPod, on their Zoom, take it with them. So it can be user-friendly in that manner. This isn't to replace text, but to be a complement to or parallel with text as far as offering instructional material to students. And plus, too, through voice, through tone, emotion, language, you can convey a message differently than you would with text. So it gives you opportunity. So to get to Audacity, what we need to do is we need to go to Google, okay, which I've already done here, and you're going to type in Audacity and do a search. Now, we're going to go under here, the first one, Audacity Free Audio Editor and Recorder. We're going to click on the part that says Download. Okay, now here's the little icon for Audacity, this little symbol right here. Okay, one of the things, if you look over here on the left hand side, you see a bar that says download, and if I scroll you down, and now it gives you the options of Windows, Mac, Linux, and the rest of this stuff gets a little more technical. And you can also do it over here for the stable 1.2. That's what we're going to use. There's a beta version out, which is kind of still like a test version, but we're just going to go with the 1.2. So let's click on, I'm going to click on Windows because that's what I have. You click on whichever one you have. Now, I'm going to bring you over here to the right a little bit. Okay. Recommended download requirements. It kind of gives you a brief detail of what you need to be able to download it. I also want to scroll you down. We're also going to come back here and get this lame MP3 encoder later, and the reason why we're going to do that is that will allow you to export what you record into an MP3 file. So it's really what makes, if you don't do that, you won't be able to. Sometimes some Windows or Macs may have default systems, but that works best with Audacity, and Audacity accepts that best. So we'll have to install that later. If I come up, Audacity 1.2.6 installer, okay, that's what I want to click on. And again, this is for Windows, so you'd have to, if you're using a Mac or Linux, follow their source. Now, this page is a little tricky because if you go down and just click that download, you're actually going to download something else. But what we want to do is underneath where it says, please use this direct link, go ahead and click on this direct link right here. Okay, then you're going to click on Run. Yes, it's just a little pop-up window saying, you sure you want to do this? And yes, I'm sure. Okay, now this window comes up and you want to click Next. You want to come over here and accept the agreement and then go click Next. I advise you to read through that. I've already done it, but it gives you your understanding of how to use and how you can license and publish and use Audacity. So it is in your best interest to read through that to make sure you know your rights. And I'm going to click Next again. Now, this is where it's going to be saved. I'm going to save it to my C drive. You can pick wherever you'd like to save it to by clicking on Browse and then going through your computer. That's up to you. But I'm just going to go ahead and click Next. Now, because I already have it downloaded, it's prompting me saying, hey, you already have it downloaded. So you won't see this if you don't already have it downloaded, but I do, so I'm going to click Next, or Yes. And you want to make sure you click Create a Desktop icon. Otherwise, it'll hide in that folder and way back in your system, but this way it'll put it right on your desktop so you can just double click on it and it pops right open. We'll hit Next and install. Launch Audacity. This way you can see it right away. So let's go ahead and hit Finish. And you can see, or let me show you. Here's what Audacity looks like. This is what the screen looks like. Now the next video I'm going to show you how to record But I want to go back and get the lame function to put into it. So this is what it'll look like in general of how to go and record audio. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and let's go back and get the lame source that I was talking about before. We're going to need that. So I'm going to click back, pull down, and under the optional downloads, the lame MP3 encoder. Let's click that. Okay, again, so the system, they have Mac and Linux. I'm going to click on lame download page. Okay, what you want to do is you want to left click on the little link here, okay, and then you're going to click run. And again, the publisher can verify it's just a security measure. I'm going to click run. And then with this window that pops up, welcome to the lane for Audacity Setup Wizard, I'm going to click next. I'm going to click on I accept and then next. And then again, this is where, just like before, where you want to save it on your computer. I'm going to click next. You can figure it out by browsing on where you want to go. And then I'm going to click install. Okay, completing the lane for Audacity Setup Wizard, click finish to exit setup. It's already set up. I'm going to click finish. Alright, now the reason why we need to do this is I'll show you here in a second. Okay, as I bring up the Audacity, is that what you're going to have to do is underneath file, when you select and you have recorded, the first time you're going to have to do is you're going to have to tell it to use the lame Audacity. The lame MP3 export. Mine's already set up that way, so it'll just do it, but originally you will be prompted to ask which one to use. But to use Audacity, very simply put, here's the record button. So if I simply push on this, as you see it's streaming down here at the bottom, it's recording what I'm saying, okay? And it gives you the time frame by these numbers. You know, these are seconds as far as how quick it's going. Here's where the volumes, so you get an idea of how loud you're talking to the microphone. And there's plenty of other features you see in here that you could use to go over, but this is just the basic premise. Now if I hit stop, alright, obviously you see it stopped recording. Okay, now you could play it back and listen to it, and then you could, you know, move it back and edit. So like if you didn't like, you know, at 18 seconds you didn't like what you said after that, well, you could move the screen back from there and move forward, all kinds of little features. But I've hit stop and I want to export this file, so I'm going to hit export as MP3. Now remember, without lame, the first time you use it with lame, you're going to have to tell it to do that. Okay, it's going to ask you how, and you're going to have to tell it. You're going to have to go in and pick lame from where you've saved it on your computer. I'm going to hit export as MP3. I'm going to save it to my desktop, and I'm just going to call it test. And then you're going to have to give it for format or whatever, you know, more flexible, more compatible. It's your choice. It's still the lame DivX here. That's what the LD is. And you're going to have to just offer it a title. You can call it whatever you want. And then just go down at the bottom and click OK. I wouldn't worry about track number and all that stuff. Okay, now if we call this out and we go onto the screen, you'll see right here test MP3. And if I double click on it, my Windows Media Player pops up. And now what you'll be able to do with Moodle is that you'll be able to import the MP3 up into the file folder and then insert it into the week that you need it, and you can have audio in your class.